Check 1, 2, 3, 4. You want to make sure you're hearing me on your live stream? Check 1, 2, 3, 4. Good. 1, 2, 3, 4. You guys can hear each other?
Yep.
Oh, sorry.
Right. Sorry. Right. I just don't. I don't trust them not to be on. I spend too much of my life with people going, "Yeah, it's off. Don't worry about it." And your phone's then ringing, going, I'm just always very conscious of the conversation you're having. Always wants to be whatever you wouldn't mind anyone hearing. Hello, how are you?
I'm good, thanks. And yourself?
Yes, very well. Very well. Yeah, have a look for those actually.
No, I was just looking. I'm on 19%, which should be fine. There's only a couple of them that I don't have
Yeah.
like substantial notes on, but
Yeah.
This class, everything is 140 by 140.
Okay.
Okay?
Perfect. Easy.
yeah. Obviously, I did Charter City and World
Yeah.
of Loving, Toronto,
Yeah, I watched
and
some of that.
oh, did you?
Yeah.
And the North American youth thing as well.
Yeah. Yeah, that was good.
So
I did get a little bit of time to see some of it and catch up with it. And
it's been
you and Tori's act.
double act.
Double act. Nice.
It's been a lot of Americanness
I
over
know.
the month.
After a month is a long time. You start to
It's
sort of
quite a while.
yeah, and unless you're, especially if you're in your own place, you know,
Yeah.
I've done it, and I'm okay. First 2 weeks are in one place, which is not too bad, but then
Yeah.
when you're then travelling and travelling and travelling,
Yeah. I mean, at least there's no real time difference though when
no,
I'm over here.
no. I mean, it's very different to when say I go to Florida and you're there for 3 months, well, 3 4 months, but you're in the same place, so it's fine. And I used to do.
Ooh la la. Oh jeez, move. This is the time of the day where I struggle to stay awake. I really could use some good nap right now. J'ai réussi.
One, two, three. Three, four, five. Time is now 3:20. We're 10 minutes away from starting competition today. Again, time now 3:20. Welcome everyone to this afternoon's performance.
No Spanish flag. No Spanish flag.
Once again, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. We're less than 10 minutes away from starting this afternoon's class. Class number 500 in the program. Competition today, $1,000 class. This is a two-phase competition. If you were with us yesterday, it was the opener for the two-star. This is the opening class for the five-star competition today. The show or the course in two phases. All riders complete both phases, and they must complete both phases to qualify for the Grand Prix. Guillermo Georgia from Wellington, Florida, originally from Brazil. Our course designer, he's given us a course today of 12 jumps. First phase, jumps 1 to 7, a length of 320 meters, la première phase du concours, 320 mètres avec un temps alloué de 52 secondes, 52 seconds allowed on this first phase, 1 through 7. Second phase, or second of the course, 8 to 12. 250 meters on this second section, 40 seconds of time allowed. My name is Jeff Morgan. I'll be bringing you the live action. Lauren Hunkin joining up here for the color will give you a little bit of information about the rides once they're complete before they start. Welcome, Lauren.
Thanks for having me up here again, Jeff. Pretty excited to see this field present all these wonderful international riders and horses. Should be a pretty exciting afternoon.
Yes, indeed. Some of the top riders here joining us in Ottawa for the Major League Show Jumping Ottawa competition, both a 5-star and 2-star. CSI. Our sponsor for this afternoon's class, Zenith Consulting Incorporated, an Ottawa-based boutique firm specializing in organizational culture change and business transformation strategy. To learn more about Zenith Consulting, check them out online, zenithconsulting.ca. See you throughout the week for the first 2 days of the competition. We do have live webcasting of the competition. So if you left someone at home looking after the pets or family members who want to watch online, they're welcome to do so. Just direct them to digital. Their partnership in competition here this weekend allows us to present this week's live stream coverage. Equestrian Digital helps to simplify, manage, and communicate everything in Major League Show jumping to our viewers tuning in from home. Stay better informed with the streamlined experience from Equestrian Digital. So tune in, call them at home, someone can watch along with you. Again, the two-phase competition, first phase, starting at the first jump, of course. Over here by the announcer stand, the Giant Tiger Vertical is jump number 1. From there, a right-hand turn to the Dolan Jump Company, the black and white towers with the yellow lettering, heading toward the in-gate. A long gallop to the third, Guillermo giving us a bit of a gap here on the course. Jump number 3, on a right-hand turn in the center of the ring, the red flowers on the green stems on the wings. C'est le numéro 3, les fleurs rouges au centre du parcours. Virage à gauche, a left-hand turn to the first combination for A and B. The black trellis jumps, the garden trellises as the wings, the multicolored rails, and the very airy fillers on the A element. Coming in over vertical, out over an oxer. And again, a bit of a gallop for the riders over to the Major League Show jumping jump right beside the water. Jump number 5. There's an option here. You can jump the water, or you can jump the vertical. Sorry, the oxer. The big option beside the water, the option to the water, with a good schooling opportunity here. The water will be coming up in the team competition. Straight ahead then to jump 6, le numéro 6, so the Kubota, heading toward the VIP tent, and a rollback to 7, the CP train locomotives. That is phase 1. C'est la section 1 du parcours. All of the riders continue, whether they have faults on the rails or time, they continue on onto the second section. Phase 2 starts at a combination. The blue starbursts right in the center of the ring. Au centre du parcours, le 8AB, coming in over an oxer, leaving over a vertical. Then a left-hand turn, way over to the small tents. The sponsors' tents on the far side. The very colorful horse heads, the logo from the Normandy World Equestrian Games. That's jump number 9 in the Honda. Continuing on a left-hand turn all the way back to the CI Asante jump. Soyez bien conseillés. CI Asante, le saut numéro 10. Then a right-hand turn along the front of the VIP stands. Cabana Coast is jump 11. L'Hôtel de Cabana Coast is numéro 11. And the final jump, jump number 12, the Major League Show jumping vertical at the finish line. So again, 52 seconds allowed on section 1, 40 seconds allowed on section 2. And we have a good number to keep you well entertained for the day. We expect to see 64 to jump in the class. And set to go now with the class, the CSI 5-star $1,000 Open. The power and speed.
Well, set to go into our first class of the day for the 5-star.
Cat Ninja and Jacqueline Stefan.
And Cat Ninja is a 14-year-old Dutch warm-blood mare. Cat Ninja and Jacqueline are also members of the Eye Candy Jumpers team.
Well, a very good afternoon, and set to go into the first class of the week for the 5-star competition. This is the curtain raiser, $1,000 Zenith Consulting Open here at the Wesley Clover Parks. Part of Major League Show Jumping here in Ottawa this time, and heading to another capital venue. Beautiful grass arena for the very first time here with the 5-star here in Ottawa, and this is going to be the opening class, two-phase competition, two-phase in the sense of two-phase special, so they'll jump all the fences on the course in the sense of 12 of them in total. The last one, Major League Jumping Fence, heading over towards alongside the VIP area, and it's Jacqueline Stefan starting us off with Cat Ninja, Hannah Robson alongside me, and a nice winning combination we saw in Traverse City.
Yeah, a fantastic combination in Traverse City. They had a 5-star winning round win there, obviously earlier on this month. They also won a 5-star jump-off class in June. That was in Vancouver. That was the week after the Major League Show Jumping show. But Jacqueline's been going really, really well with this horse. As I say, a couple of wins recently. Also a 6th in the 5-star winning round class at the Major League Show at Vancouver as well.
It's continuing to return here to Canada, of course, last week over towards Toronto to Angelstone there, and then carrying on with his new venue as we head to the capital, to Ottawa this time. The city literally just on the skyline to the side of us, and over the Normandy fence, and now coming into the second phase of this competition. Time allowed of 52 and 40, first phase and second phase, but as I say, it's a two-phase in the sense that you will go through all of the course. It won't be after the first phase that the bell goes and we say adios. This time you go all the way through as a good training round to get them going for the week. So Major League Fence at 12 is the last on track, and we'll take them to a score of 38.47.
38.47 on that second phase, double clear. The time was 50.77 on phase 1 for Jacqueline and Cat Ninja, Baku, Salford.
And a beautiful round there from Cat Ninja and Jacqueline. Nice and smooth all the way around.
So Jacqueline starting us off with a good round on now to Tali de Jong in just a moment. First lineup of those to go of a total of 64 in our class here. Got big numbers in the 2-star as well. Bell goes. It tones for Tali de Jong and Heavenly Star now. And for them also in Traverse City a few weeks ago for that 5-star. Another one getting a good spin in Calgary and Spruce Meadows for the shows there over the last few months for the West Coast riders. So again, to just get into competition on this 10-year-old Dutch bred mare by Van Gogh. Starting with the giant tiger fence. Basically 140 all the way around in terms of height and spread on the fences here this afternoon. And Tali, as I say, we saw her a few weeks ago in Traverse City. And one featuring last year on those West Coast shows, of course, the last stages of Major League Show Jumping taking place at the Desert Horse Park in California. 2 weeks there, 2 different arenas. Looking forward to that, but that's sort of all in December. Bit to go before that, Hannah.
Yeah, quite a little way to go. Of course, we're at the 4th leg of this 2022 season. Just having a little bit of a look at the Major League fences. They are quite eye-catching, and she's just struggling a little bit with the straightness of this horse, but she had a few fences down with this horse in the 5-star Grand Prix at Traverse City, so no placing really for her there, but certainly a really good educational round. And over, this CP Oxer, you can really see the horse's scope. I think it's just a little bit spooky in some parts of this arena, so it's such a good opportunity for them to be able to get to grips with the setting. Tali's also ridden this horse in some young rider competitions as well, in the Youth Nations Cup final last year.
Yep, and for many new into this arena, it is another look for them as they come into this first 5-star staged in Ottawa. And Tali just heading out. Shane Sweetnam giving his horse a good look around. Namaste. for Shane. Shane actually just back from a European tour. He was in Dublin as part of that squad of the winning Nations Cup for the Aga Khan just a week ago, and just before that as well into Traverse City, and also with the run in Dinard in France, but top 3 last week in the Grand Prix in Dublin as well. So he's had a very good run, but has definitely been clocking up the air miles in the last few weeks. For Mr. Sweetenham, on this 9-year-old by Elvis Terpuch, the Belgian horse on the lines of Amigo and Correal. Get a good opportunity here on this beautiful grass arena to give some of these horses coming into the top flight a spin. Shane been going incredibly well with, of course, James Cancruz that we've seen on the tour before now. Finished 6th in the Grand Prix in Dinard as well. But Namaste getting a little bit more exposure now, and so it's competing in Traverse City. Moved up to those 5 stars for a few top 10s there as well. And again this week he can start to put a little bit of pressure on.
Yeah, a couple of top 10 placings at Traverse City. One in the 2 phase. He just picked up 1 time penalty in both phases there, and then a 6th place in the individual rankings in the team competition. But this is a horse that Shane's been riding internationally since June of this year, so a relatively new partnership, but certainly one that's been going pretty well. They've been in the top 10 7 times already together, and this is a previous ride of Nick Vrins of Belgium, who was competing this horse all around Europe before Shane brought the horse over to America, and he's been riding this in Lexington and Traverse City.
Yeah, Shane, of course, based down in Florida, has been for a number of years now. The Sweet Oak Farm team. He continues to bring on just, I thought she gets close as they turn up to that double, the light blue double at 8. Again, this is the class to get some of those good training rounds in. Walter Trey, the normal defence from 2014, and I think he's going to carry on round and just quietly give them a spin round these last few fences as well.
Just taking it quite steadily again, isn't he?
Yeah. Okay, no, not under any great pressure here. Nice, easy educational round for them. 1 or 2 little blips in there that they can then correct and come off with a good feeling. So going to come off with 2 for time in the first part, 8 in the second on 44 seconds for Shane Sweetenham, and Namaste, the Belgian-bred bay gelding for the Irishman.
40 seconds, that will add 4 time penalties to the score. 2 time penalties and 4 jumping on the first
So
section.
Jacqueline's Stefan's the best of those with 2 clears so far, both phases, of course. 38.47 here in this opening Zenith consulting sponsor class. Headed now to Lacey Gilbertson and Byzance Mail, who's been a part of the Sweet Oak team, training with those for quite some time now. Traverse City as well, finished well there. 2nd and 3rd was on the team again for the Spico Spies for the team competition. Got close there, but Helios are still leading the way. We'll come on to that in a moment or 2. But Byzance Mail, good experience one for Lacey, one she's jumped for a number of years now. Actually jumped this one a little way back, going into Kentucky was last time out in May of this year, so it's had a little bit of a break, and now returning on this 11-year-old by Matahari Mail. So Spico Spies rider for her. They've got close, but Helios have been dominating so far. What, 3 from 3?
Yeah, 3 from 3 for Team Helios, and 3 different lineups for them as well. And as you say, Spico Spies have been knocking on the door. They've been 2nd at 2 legs. Sadly, though, at Toronto, it just didn't go their way. Lacey still had a very good round, but in fact, it jumped a clear for the team. But unfortunately, with 1 rider eliminated and 3 riders only in the team, of course, all 3 scores to count, that left them in 8th place.
Yep. Well, a little bit of ground to make up as they come into this next stage here in Ottawa. Run down to 6, confident down there, and giving yourself some space back to the CP fence.
I think a lot of riders have commented that it's really nice to be jumping on grass again. Of course, the 2nd time we've been jumping on grass, but
yeah. Vancouver, of course, opening stage. Just deciding that she's done enough at that point. Goes through that first section, just putting her hand up. there we go, we'll focus in on Margie Engel. Yes, beautiful grass arena here. You can see the stripes in there. It's all well presented. Done an amazing job here on this lovely venue. Hans Parks and all the team that have been running the shows here, and now stepping up nicely to the 5-star. Mike Lawrence been working hard with the squad here, all in elements to bring a new 5-star here to Canada. And Margie Engel then with Royce. Royce, of course, well established at 18 years of age by Cafe Olay. Lovely combination that we've seen win 5-star Grand Prix, competed all over the world. And Royce just gets a nice targeting occasionally now, just to try and pick off some of those big classes. And it's getting nicely backed up by Aston Dezitis, having finished well in the Grand Prix in Traverse City last week as well. The last couple of weeks. Royce, just such a lovely, powerful horse that, again, 18 years of age, but not too worried about it. Gets nicely targeted around. We're going to go down to the water. Yeah, we've seen this plenty of times before. And it'll pick up down there, and off we go. Again, gives them an opportunity to see the water jump here. We'll see it reappear in the Grand Prix, I would imagine. Margie with a few other options in terms of firepower to go to over the next few days as well in terms of horses.
Yeah, she had some great rounds at Toronto as well. She won the winning round competition, that 5-star competition with Jack of Hearts in Toronto. That was brilliant. Another of those really big horses that she likes to ride.
Exactly. Jack of Hearts just coming into the higher, I think about 9 years of age at the moment anyway.
Yeah, it was the horse's first 5-star win.
Yeah. Again, Margie just popping around this with ease, as you'd expect for this horse, just to really give them a stretch, get them used to this arena. Like so, what a real run down the last. Just picked up down there, gave it a good gallop to the final fence. Going to be 8 on the scoreboard at 45.39, but there in that second phase with the time allowed of 14. In fact, it's going to be 6 plus 2, so those time faults coming into play basically. Going to be a total of 8 there, 45.39. 2 in the first, 6 in the second. Time allowed of 40 in phase 2. Margie Engel there, just showing they've still got a bit of pace down to that final fence there too. Hyde Moffat and Quinton. Quinton is again for the Ariel Grange team. Florian Stables. And for next of the Canadian riders, we'll see what can feature here for them. 5th of 64. Yeah, a long way to go, but how about this pair?
Yeah, it is quite a long way to go, but they've been jumping well in the last couple of legs. Hyde took Quinton to Vancouver and jumped in the 5-star Grand Prix at the Major League Show Jumping Show there. They just had one fence down, finished in 17th, but I think probably doesn't quite reflect the fact that it was just one fence down. It was actually a really good performance. So far this year, they've had 4 clears, so they're around about 25% in terms of a clear round rate. And this is a horse that he's also competed at the World Cup show, at a World Cup show back in October 2021. But Hyde had a couple of really good rides as well at some of our recent legs. Gisborne VDL, one of those, and Donjo as well, another of his rides on the list for the weekend.
Running, of course, for Canadian owners who've been such wonderful supporters of not just riders, horses, breeding here in Canada, but also of the shows themselves as well. Daniel Corn also riding for them, so Irish and Canadian riding for the Grange team. Started with Sue and then Ariel picking up the baton now in recent times. So time allowed of 52 in that first section. Takes a run at the water. And there's to the Kubota fence. Then that CP fence, the last on course, just getting to the left there of that vertical, just so it makes a move there. Looking to straighten that for the CP Oxer. And eyes on, he's obviously going to go around the whole track say, with $1,000 on the class here for the Zenith Consulting first 5-star. Really about them getting a spin into this beautiful arena, getting used to being out on what has been fabulous turf. A little bit of, well, we say a little bit of rain, quite a bit of rain on the first couple of days in terms of Monday, Tuesday of this week, but it just means there's plenty of juice in the ground, and it looks very nice indeed. Ah. Couple of fences to go on this first section. Down 6 strides, there we go, all done and dusted. Finishing on the 4:41.44, and actually is going to be a couple for time in that section 2, 3 for a time for the first. Keep my maths up and going. Will make, as you can see on your screen, total of 9 there, 41.44 for Hyde Moffat, the Canadian rider with Quintin. Back to Ireland, another jet setter. Obviously back to his home show at Dublin last week, and there finished top 10 in the Grand Prix. Had a nice win in the Sport Island Classic, was just jumping Scarrow against Machu Picchu as World Championship horse last week on home Irish turf, of course, for the Eye Candy team, Paul O'Shea, and now with the 11-year-old Hellcat by Cassandra van Het Bremhoff, the Belgian-bred mare, and put some nice win. Had a nice win, I think, a few weeks ago with this horse, and also been going well too.
Yeah, they actually were second in the 5-star winning round competition at Traverse City. But so far for 2022, they've been extremely consistent. They've been in the top 10 9 times, and they're just about approaching a 50% clear round rate. Of course, Hellcat's been a fantastic ride for Paul on Team Eye Candy as well. It's a horse that he rode on Team Eye Candy quite a lot.
Yeah. Paul, of course, known within the team as coach. He's the man that leads them out. Captain of the squad.
This is the horse with whom he contributed to 2 podium finishes in 2021 for the team. Paul was on the team for 3 wins and 3 podium finishes, and as I say, 2 of those were with Hellcat. Squirt Gun was the other horse that he rode quite extensively for Team Eye Candy last year.
It's been a tougher year for the other teams now to try and get towards the Team Helios, who are leading, but it can change around very, very quickly.
Yeah, there's just 3 points that separate places 3 to 6.
Yeah.
So I think, especially considering that we've had 3 legs of the series this year, this month, excuse me, that things can really be keeping on getting shaken up quite a lot.
Yeah. And again, all about consistency. One good week and one not so good week balance out. That's the thing. But Helios dominating at the moment. We'll see what they do this week. But Eye Candy, last year's champions, will not be far behind, I'm sure. They're putting in a clear. Clear for Paul O'Shea and Hellcat. Time around 42, so picks up a little bit of time there as well for Paul O'Shea. There we go, confirmed now. 42.56, 3 time for Paul O'Shea and Hellcat.
Super ride there by Paul Hellcat. You can see this horse getting
Very nice combination. Went well up in Spruce Meadows as well. Several second and thirds there too. Where are we headed? Grant Seeger and Frida. Grant's first 5-star competition. And been looking forward to getting his teeth into this one on the 10-year-old by Baloo de Roy. Give me a bit of background here, Hannah.
Yeah, he had a good 5-star run with Cantuccini at Toronto, but as you say, this is the first 5-star for this horse. He's been competing at up to 3-star level so far, and this is a horse that Grant's only been competing this year internationally so far as well. They've had 6 top 10 finishes this year, and they are on a just under a 50% clear round rate, 5 out of 13, so more like sort of 40% so far this year, but going better and better, and as you say, they're really just stepping up to the 5-star level, so I'm sure that this will be a good opportunity for them to sort of really get their teeth into it. Just a bit unfortunate to have the first fence, or first 2 fences down there, because You know, we say it's quite a long way down our list of 64, but with an early fault, it's quite a long way around this course in a big arena as well.
Well, and again, this is the perfect opportunity to get going. Yeah, a bit of a sticky start, but better over the third, and then start to have a little look around on this 10-year-old. As we say, hasn't had the experience either in this arena before now too. Gone solidly in try-on. There we go. Nice, smoother jump over the water. Now just settling in, puts a little bit of a pull and a bounce in before the Kubota vertical. But this is where this is just about getting some ring time into this pair as well, just for both for horse and for rider as a partnership. Again, height-wise should cope with this one okay. Certainly got a good jump. There we go. Now settling in, I think hopefully we'll come out at the end of this two-phase. We gained some very good mileage between the two of them. Yemi George, our course designer here this week, giving them a good loop back to the vertical, and a couple more fences on course. And again, giving a good sensible track to get them going. There we go. Nicely down to the last, settled in and running, and looking for a big week ahead. 8 in the first, 6 in the second, 41.29 the final time in phase 2 for Grant Seeger and Frida, 10-year-old by Baloo Del Rey. As we say, first time here, first time into these 5 stars. We puts a little bit of the butterflies behind either, and just settling in now. So came out of there well, and from there we still see Jacqueline Steffens at the top of the leaderboard with Cat Ninja on 38.47. Hunter Holloway, Lopez T, 9-year-old by Lord Pezzi Jr. And for Hunter, World Cup winner as she is, and competed at the World Cup finals this year as well. Finished well with Pepita Conspita. But again, seeing some new horses in the string here.
Yeah, she's got a good few horses at 5-star level. This is one of her more recent rides. This is just her one of her very first 5-star competitions with this horse. She had one fence down in the 3-star speed competition at Traverse City in July of this year. And this horse is a previous ride of Hendrik Jan Schuttert of the Netherlands and of Sally Hopkinson of Great Britain as well.
Yeah.
But as you say, Hunter's been going extremely well this year. She's got horses like Dana de Kerglen, Pepita Conspita, who've been really consistent for her. Pepita Conspita, the one with whom she was 16th, as you say, for that good result at the World Cup finals at Leipzig.
Won the Vegas round, if I remember right, the World Cup series last year. But nice to see some new talent with her as well coming through.
I think as well, you know, it shows how consistent she's been, and the fact that she's got some really good rides in. She's 21st in the FEI jumping under 25 rankings, which I think is quite impressive.
Jumping nicely so far, and you see what first 5-star for this combination together. Good week to start on the turf, and again coming into the latter part of the year, it's time for some of the horses to start stepping up a gear again. Just having got some rounds into them in the early part of 2020. We're already coming into the final third of the year already.
Soon be autumn.
Soon be autumn. 4. On a score of 2, it is 1 in the first round, 1 in the second, 40.47. Nothing fell there though. It is clear. Bar the time faults, but again, nothing too much to worry about there. Nice round for Lopez T and Hunter Holloway. So look forward to seeing more of that combination together. Just on the 2, we'll take them into second place so far. Jacqueline Steffens, the only 0 runner so far, with Cat Ninja on 38.47. Nicolette Hurt. And yeah, we're moving on to Nicolette Hurt with Oak Grove's Desperado. Another 9-year-old. French bred by de Montesemi, and out of Niège de Balcon by Luck Z for Nicolette. Nicolette again with a good string of horses around her at the moment, so looking to see more with this one. Again, another one coming through for her. Oak Grove's Desperado. Either of the West Coast riders have got more and more exposure at the 5-star level. And a fairly new combination for this pair. Coming down that first section, as you see, 52, 40 in the second phase.
She rode this horse in the 3-star Grand Prix at Traverse City, just had one fence down and one for time there. It was just outside the top 10. But it was, you know, that was back in July, but a good performance, you know, one down and one for time is not a lot. But
sit up. He's got a little stuck over the water. Not unsurprisingly has the next fence down, but again, chance for them to settle the butterflies now. I think she's going to call it a day after that.
56-51 on the first section, 4 jumping, 5 time faults.
And finish on a score of 9-8, 56-5-1. So picking up time there for Nicolette Hirsch and Oak Grove's Desperado. She's coming in a little roll past the water again. Just a little change around in the order because Susan Horn now. And Susan with Dominka van Lukashuve for the Canadian rider, 13-year-old mare by Cardento, 9-3 to be exact. On the Belgian lines of Chin Chin for Susan. We see in Florida throughout the winter months at P4 now. And again, another one that's been produced in Europe. I think this one actually came from Portugal.
yes, from Luis Sabinho Goncalves of Portugal, but it's a horse that Susan's had the ride on since 2020. They had a fantastic show at Caledon in July of this year. They won a 2-star jump-off class and they were second in the 2-star Grand Prix there. But so far this year they've been in the top 10 in 5 competitions. And again, they're around about 40% in terms of a clear round rate this year so far. But Susan has a couple of newer rides as well on the list for the 5-star competitions this week. Curlo van den Bosrand is one of those other ones, one that she's only had since June 2022. So this one a little bit more established for her. Had it for a couple of years, but so they know each other fairly well and have those really good recent placings. Huge jump over that CP Oxer. It's really making a lot of horses take a quite enormous jump, really demonstrate their scope over that fence.
Well, deciding to reel it in after that fence, and there we go, retiring after phase 1 for Susan Horn and Dominka van Lukashuve. Erin Ballard, Castedem, 10-year-old, by French-bred Ready Boy de Forêt. Unique de Forêt from Richebourg of France. And for Erin, again on good form, again has been jet-setting in the last few months as well. Keeping herself busy, everything from these big world championships, of course. Lugano team for Erin Ballard. How have they been getting on?
Team Lugano, not too great, unfortunately.
They're ready for their big comeback, I'm told, this week.
Yeah, absolutely. They've got a fantastic lineup. They've got some really, really great riders, but unfortunately just not quite gelling together as a team yet. But, you know, I really think that they will, and they've certainly got a lot of depth in their squad. Unfortunately, an 8th, a 7th and a 6th so far for them this season has got them in 8th place in the season standings. But for Erin herself, this is going better and better. This is their second international show together after jumping at Akala in 2022, so might give you a bit of a clue as to why some of these fences are looking pretty eye-catching for this horse.
Just having a good nose at the water. Erin going to give them another spin back around to this, and she's going to take the option. There is the option there. They can go to the Oxer if they should so desire. Again, going to make that decision of whether coming again is going to make things better or worse. Decided to go back for the Oxford this time, and now just keeping a bit of pressure on into this second part of the course to keep moving and again finish on a good forward note.
Kira bay, mesti dukaan ako yawa.
Boleh kah?
Magkuha kong kape bay.
Ha?
Magkuha kong kape. Wala nang
Say probably always it's the second international show that this
It
pair have
is,
done
yeah.
together. They're very good at hopping on and getting a ride going, but just not quite to be today. But this is the class if it's not going to go to plan to really be able to put things back together. O'Connor in the early part of the year also came from Cedric Correl in France in the early part of this year. So only a couple of shows under their belt so far. She's just to say back from those World Championships. Erin Ballard, 26 in the first, but most of that was time, of course, had that refusal in there. Always makes it some bigger scores now with the new scoring system of 1-4-1, so 1 fault for every second commenced over the time allowed and 4 in the second phase. Erin Ballard there, Castadem on the 10-year-old French-bred rise. On the next is very much Irish-bred into Conor Swale, the world number 4. Again, has been a busy rider indeed. Dublin last week as well, of course, onto that top squad there. And Conor Swale, vital chance, Dother Rock. And he's been clocking up the miles and he's certainly been moving up those world rankings. Highest he's been now throughout his career, and that is in 4th at this point on those Longines world rankings. Finished 2nd in the Grand Prix of Dublin just last week as well. Was on that winning team for the Nations Cup too. Also notched up the wins in Dinard in France while skipping between Tryon and Traverse City.
Yeah, this pair were 3rd in the 5-star Grand Prix at Traverse City. Also had 2 5-star wins at Kentucky back in April, and they are always there or thereabouts in these competitions. That 5-star Grand Prix at Traverse City was a really tough course actually. We had only 4 riders going through into the jump off. Conor, of course, one of those, and just clipped 1 pole to then finish in eventual 3rd place. But this pair have been in the top 10 60% of the time this year. Oh, another one not liking the water too much. But you've got a fantastic clear round rate as well, so as you say, if there's a time to not love the look of the of a fence like that, then this is it.
Yeah, and unfortunately, yes, we'll see what their plan is for the week. I say expect the water to reappear for the Grand Prix later on this week. Which way he will go with horses this week in terms of teams, etc. We'll get the full team lineup coming up soon. I can't completely confirm that yet, but it will be along, and once we know it, we will fill you in. But as you can see from some of the riders here, Eye Candy, of course, rider Conor Swale alongside Paul O'Shea, Jacqueline Steffens. And, likely to be the lineup here this week, but we will see. Not going to second guess. Swale just taking things quietly out into the country to bring them back, to give them a nice space and a nice finish. Could build the confidence back up. He's fine a couple of events, a little play around. There we go, Conor using this effectively just to finish nice and tidy. And there we go, there's going to be plenty of time in there, I'm afraid. So again, it's going to look like a big score, but not quite the end of the world in there. Stop at the water there for Conor Swale and vital chance to La Roque. Otherwise, we'll see what the plan is for the rest of the week for the highest ranked rider here at Longines World number 4. Conor Swale will change over with another Irishman. think should be Conor Reagan to go next. There we go. Conor with Manchester. Nice easy one. 10-year-old Belgian-bred stallion by Kidam de Revel, and actually out of a mare by Codex. And again, superb breeding on this horse. Fairly new ride for Conor, I think.
Yeah, Toronto was their first FEI show together, first international competition for this pair. This was a former ride of Marie Demont of France, and with Marie, this horse has had some very good results at 5-star level, 8th in a 5-star speed class in April of this year, and also won a 5-star jump-off competition in June of last year with Marie. That was in Saint-Tropez. Jumped in a few classes at Toronto, but staying in Canada now to just get a few more miles on the clock at 5-star level, I think.
Yeah, on the Trailblazers squad. You went onto the squad this year as well. Yeah, through that first section on 47.37. Jacqueline Stephan still leading this class at the moment with the double clear. As I say, for most it's about getting an outing on this lovely grass arena. Just putting a little bit of pace down that final line there. Sees him at 38.84 and into second place for Conor Reagan and Manchester. As we say, very new ride for him, getting used to that one. And certainly looks a nice one to build from there throughout the week. So into second, so for the Trailblazers in second, and it's Eye Candy rider Jacqueline Steffens that's leading with Cat Ninja on 38.47 so far. Sean Jobin and another of the Canadian riders riding for the Show Plus Northern Lights. So real home pressure now in the Canadian capital as well. Heading to Otter with Coquelicot, Van Heer to Houvelin Z, the 10-year-old by Katoki. Don't worry, I'll do those ones, Hannah. You tell me what's they've been doing.
Yeah, it is a little bit of a mouthful as a name, this one, isn't it? Yeah, Sean here to cheer on his teammates. He's actually told me that he's not going to be on the squad for the Show Plus Northern Lights this week, but certainly looking forward to cheering on his teammates. This one has a 50% clear round rate at 1 meter 50. Only jumped one course above that, but of course that's a little bit higher than what we're doing here today. They're 48% clear at 1 meter 45. But in terms of this year so far, they are 61% clear over 2 to 5 star level, so just sort of over quite a breadth of competitions. So really, really very consistent. I mentioned those numbers because I do think they're quite impressive with this horse. Shows consistency, as I say, and certainly a good choice for a team combination, not ones that are being selected this week, according to Sean.
But there will be a plan.
Absolutely.
Exactly, it's remembering there are 10 stages to the competition.
Yeah, and he's already ridden on the team twice this season already and helped them to some very, very good results. Team sitting in 5th place at the moment.
Home easily enough, and it's a couple of time from the first phase, 37.88 for Sean Jobin and Coquelicot Van Heer to Houvelin Z. And for the Canadian, just leaves them on a couple of time faults and actually puts them in 3rd so far in this class. Goes the barrier. making the changeover in this $1,000 Zenith Consulting opening class. And we will go across to Kristen van der Veen. Bull Runs Risen, the 16-year-old Dutch bred horse by Utopia. Lovely horse to watch, really one that can eat the ground just when it comes to facing off those big jump-offs. Again, some pretty solid finishes so far this year, and with a win in Tryon, it continued to keep those wins going throughout 2022.
Yeah, 6 top 10 finishes this year alone, all the way up to 5-star level. They were 5th in a 5-star speed class at Miami in April of this year as well. And then at the Traverse City Major League show jumping leg, they just had 1 fence down and finished in 11th, so it was also a good performance there. This is a horse that Kristen rode on the Major League show jumping teams last year. Of course, she's on the Roadrunners team this year.
Yeah, went for just the 4 faults in the Grand Prix in Traverse City. But yeah, one of the fastest riders around. Won something like 21 international classes last year. Certainly one of the most riders in the US, originally from Illinois. Isn't going to set a blazing trail today, but is going to be thinking about the rest of the week. Just quietly through that first phase, 61.37. Steady she goes, and I think no, we're going for a very, very steady round. Quietly, quietly. And there we go, all out to get their own result out of the class. The keen thing is that they jump clear over the fences, quite a lot for time, as you would expect, but it doesn't mean a bad round in any shape or form. Just gone very, very steadily around there for Kristen van der Veen and Bull Runs Risen. So we'll see if they are in team action. I have a feeling they will be here this week. You see across some of the park here, that's a long time part of the city landscape here in Ottawa. Tanner Krotkin, Quinn 33 for this good looking combination. Saw them a few weeks ago, I think, didn't they? They already put a win together.
Yes, they did. They won the 5-star speed class at Traverse City. Really fantastic round there. Of course, the fastest of everybody in that competition, but it was an extremely impressive round. He was the fastest by quite some way. But this is, again, a relatively new partnership, so getting off to a pretty blazing start, getting that early win. At Traverse City as well, they actually jumped 75% of the time clear. Tanner also jumped at the North American Youth Championships in August as well. Didn't quite go his way there.
But also showing some young talent coming through, the likes of he and Sam Walker, of course, was there, still picking up a medal at the Youth Young Rider Championships that we've seen winning a number of 5-star classes now, but just shows the level of where you need to be if you're going to start being competitive at top sports. Making those crossovers there before they're even out of the youth leagues.
Yeah, he got team bronze with the Canadian team, Sam.
Tanner, who came so well through all the equitation classes, and now with the Sweetenham team.
This is a horse that's actually previously jumped World Cup and Nations Cup competitions a little while ago, though. That was with Felipe Amaral of Brazil.
Yep. Looks like Jacqueline Steffen's going to stay comfortably in front. Tana Karot going to pick up some time there. So it's going to be 13 for time in the second phase, 2 in the first, 52.87, 15 the overall score. Again, not too much to worry about, just gives them a bit of a leg stretch for the afternoon ahead of a big week here in Oshawa.
In front of the VIP tent, our next competitor, number 351.
Nikki Gallagher now. And Unique Star for the Irishman on the Trailblazers team. 14-year-old by Niagara Dell from the Holstein breeding of Cassini. Cassini man, Cassandra. Nikki, first year for him on to Major League show jumping. And again has been becoming more and more established. Had Grand Prix wins over on the West Coast. In Thermal before now. Established now up in the New York area. Again, been based here for a few years. And now with Unique Star gives him another unique string to his bow.
Yeah, they were third in the 5-star opening welcome class at Toronto. Got them off to a really good start in the week. Be interesting to see how he goes here. Seems to be taking a little bit of a steadier approach, but that certainly was a really good performance to get things kicking off for them.
Yeah, had a good look at the water there, but Nikki keeping things moving. Going back to this CP fence. Nikki building up now the string of horses around them.
Yeah, he's got some pretty established horses as well. You know, Jarvis Miss Jordan as well, one of the ones that he's been competing up to 5-star level for quite some time. But yeah, this is a horse with whom he's not competed too much at Traverse City and at Toronto, essentially.
Just moves up a bit to get the 6 down the line there. Leaves him with 3 time in total, 1 from the first section, 2 from the second, 41.87 for Nicky Gallagher and Unique Star. 14 years of age that horse, but I say not too long into his string and is really going nicely for him, giving him another horse to go to at the top flight. Natalie Dean now, another on the Lugano Diamonds team. .com. Natalie on this 9-year-old, the Saint-Français by de Montesemi out of a Kidam de Revel mare. Twin set. So now, as part of the Manfurder team, Natalie, who's already had experience competing on the US squads before now, both through the youth and into the senior ranks. And this one's a pretty experienced combination together now.
One that have been together since February of 2021. She won the 2-star Grand Prix at Traverse City this month. And then back in March was 6th in the under-25 Grand Prix at Wellington. This horse has been in the top 10 14 times with Natalie. They've had 9 very good clear rounds so far this year. Natalie herself is 90th in the Longines World Rankings at the moment. But as you say, plenty of appearances on some really exciting championship teams. She's competed at the Pan American Games 3 times, picking up medals every time. On the Diamond Devils last year, but
yeah,
now on Team Lugano.
Absolutely. Natalie heading for home nice and easily. Again, just took some good pace down to the final fence, 39.38, going clear and into third for Natalie Dean and .com de Thuy.
A clear round in 39.38 puts Natalie Dean in .com de
So
Thuy
for
into third
that
place.
pairing, going up into our top three, sees Conor Reagan in second with Manchester for the Irishman, and Jacqueline Stephens still leading with Cat Ninja on 38.47. Derek Herrins, we're keeping the Irish feel up.
151 at the ring now.
In Dublin last week, but many are back here in Canada for this. And Derek Herrins and Licino, the 11-year-old Holsteiner by Limbus. Still led by a Canadian for the Eye Candy team, Jacqueline Stephens, Cat Ninja, 38.47. Reminder of how this week's going to come together. We've got big jumping class tomorrow afternoon. I think a jump off class for that one. Team competition on Saturday, Grand Prix on Sunday. So slightly different lineup to the way we were in Angelstone last week. So Grand Prix on the traditional Sunday here. And team class on to Saturday afternoon. Round 3 o'clock will be the aim for that as well. Yesterday opening up the display from the Royal Canadian Mounted Police too. That was lovely to see. You can head across to the social media and see a little glimpse of that as well, but lovely to see that opening shot here of this event. Salute taken by Ian Miller, Captain Canada. Ara popping round very quick, easily here.
This is this horse's first international competition of the year. Jumped it in 2021 though, quite successfully, so had quite a break from competition. He jumped in the Nations Cup at Calgary in September of last year, just to have one down and then a couple down. And then in July, they just had one fence down for an 8th in a 3-star Grand Prix at Traverse City. Got a good few top 10 finishes more latterly in their record, but as I say, they're fairly fresh to international competition this year.
Yeah, there we go. Finishing on just the 3 time from the Eve Jobs team, Licino and Derek Herrins, finishing with 3 time 40.51. Jacqueline Stephens going to keep that lead at the moment. That's round from Dara, taking them into 6th place at the moment. They get a little shot across the arena here. Just got a little bit duller. Some good cloud cover at this point, but a nice, just slightly cooling temperature. But I think in for some good weather throughout the week here. Thomas Joffre of Argentina, long time US based now. Aliante Z.
Apologies, number 453 at the ring number 453.
Thomas Joffre. Remember finishing well in Traverse City previously too. Part of the squad for the Spyco Spies, Shane Sweetnam-led team. Eliante said a little less experienced, a new ride from him, I think.
Yes, it is. This is one that he's just been riding and getting to know this year. This is another one that came from Europe, from Spain this time, a former ride of Ismael Garcia Roque and Sergio Alvarez Moya. Mainly had clear and 4 faulting rounds with those 2 riders, but nice to see Thomas getting the miles in now with this horse. As you say, he finished well at Traverse City, a 5th place in the 5-star Grand Prix. That though was with Cardora. He just picked up 2 time penalties in the first round there to get the 5th place. Unfortunately, he was the rider for whom it did not go very well in the team competition at Toronto. Unfortunately, he had a fall, so that put the team in a very difficult position. And that was in the first round. It was a really difficult triple combination in that course, which caught out quite a lot of riders, and that was what caught Thomas out there as well.
just going to finish with 4 in the first phase, 2 in the second. Total of 6 there for Thomas Joffre and Alliance Z. A little bit of rain on the horizon, I think, unfortunately.
Yeah, I think there's potentially some forecast for tomorrow, but clear over the weekend.
They're telling me a little bit coming in yet this afternoon. We'll see. We get what we get. Alberto Michin, Bugatti, 16-year-old for Eduardo Lyon, becoming a newer established pairing together. And we will see them in a couple of competitions so far. Of course, he had a very good start in Traverse City in the 5 stars there with Firewall. Was top 3 with this horse into the 5-star as well. But has been, let's say, a horse that we've been well aware of for a long time. With the Gen family, and then recently into 2022 pairing up with Alberto Michin.
Yeah, since June of this year, as you say, Wilhelm Gen is who rode this horse previously most extensively. He's and Alberto's competed this horse at Traverse City and Akala already. Been in the top 10 3 times though already, twice in Akala and once at Traverse City. They were also 3rd in a 5-star class at Traverse City earlier this month, so certainly getting things off to a really, really good start together.
Yeah, right, with all the experience, multiple Olympic Games, World Championships, World Cup finals, Pan Ams as well. With all that behind him, this is good for him. It's an older horse that's jumped plenty of big Grand Prix, gives him one to really go chasing those Grand Prix straight off the bat. Just gets a good turn inside there. Again, even though they're not necessarily chasing the prize money this afternoon, it's good experience for them to put them well ahead at 32.79. A win's a win. But again, even getting that inside turn just gives them a little bit of an act of getting the eye in for the rest of the week as well. Does that with ease, and now will lead the way in this Zenith Consulting 5-star class here. Really quiet this afternoon. You're going to see those banks all full up of people through over the next few days and certainly over the weekend. Looking forward to all of that. I say literally a stone's throw from the city. You can see some of the bustle of the main routes in and out of Ottawa just in the background. Again, means this showground easy access. A lovely place to come to, and very much a family setup here. Riding in Connor Swale on the floor as he gives final instructions to Alexis Sokolov. Calcian EBZ, 23rd of our lineup, thereabouts of the 60 or so to go in this class. Alexis on the team for the Roadrunners this year. On a 9-year-old again here from the Zangazaida studbook by Kornit Obolensky, out of a Berlin mare.
Number 184, 23rd.
And Alexis really for her first year stepping up for this level as well, and this pair is probably one of their first shows together, I would think, at this level too.
Yes, Traverse City was their first international show together. Now this is their second. It's only a ride that Alexis has had quite recently, and as you may guess from the fact that he's there helping her out, this has previously competed by Connor Swale. But this horse has quite an interesting CV, so not only previously competed by Connor, but also by Gregory Watherley of Belgium and Cindy van der Straten of Belgium, just to name a couple. But at Traverse City, this pair were double clear in the 2-star, 2-phase competition. Alexis's other really good horse is Fasole du Seigneur. Connor Swale competing that earlier on this afternoon in the 2-star.
He's cut short on that Cabana Oxa and a fly down to the last, and it is an exuberant finish on a score of 15. It is 2 jumping, 13 time, 44.36 for Alexis Sokolov there, and Calcium's
Alexis had a bit of a trip over to Europe recently as well and jumped at Dinard, Nocker and at Valkenswaard in the last few months. Just as you say, really stepping up to the level and really getting the miles in at a variety of different venues.
Yes, Connor going well in Dinar as well, alongside.
Second right now for Jacqueline Stephens, deuxième cheval. C'est le 502 maintenant, 502 now. This is Freaky.
And should be going to yes, Jacqueline Stephens once again now. Freaky this time. Lovely pair that being a consistent part of the Eye Candy team, of course, onto that part of that winning team for the series last year as well. And Jacqueline, who was leading the way for a little while there with Cat Ninja on 38.47, with a chance here, but again, with the horse of this experience, may just give this one a quiet spin around, ready for the big competitions here this week. But last year was there again and again, and although Paul O'Shea got the leading individual rider of the series, she was certainly a big part of that team's success.
Yeah, especially with this horse. She rode on the team 8 times with this horse, which is more than any other combination on any team. She's also jumped this horse in Nations Cup competitions at Quapex Pan. That was in March. Recently came 3rd in a 3-star Grand Prix at Wellington as well with this horse, but jumped 2 clear rounds in Vancouver for the team this year when they were 4th. And last year this pair jumped clear in 10 out of 14 rounds for the team. Such a very consistent pair for the team and just absolute anchors of the team alongside Paul. But of course they've got a fantastic lineup with the likes of Amy Miller as well. Cat Ninja, the other horse that she rides on the team quite extensively, but Freaky certainly the one that she's campaigned for the team the most.
Yes, this 12-year-old going back to the line of Darko, which of course was the great horse ridden by Ludo Philipparts. Really one of those lovely partnerships, as you see. They've been all the way through their career. Remember her winning classes in Wellington, Florida in 2-star, and then moving up to the 5-stars so successfully as well. Just going to finish on the 1 time on 40.62 for Jacqueline Stephens, and Freaky moves her into 5th place, but again nothing too much to worry about for the rest of the week. Eye Candy on a nice steady start.
Good couple of performances from her though here already.
Yep.
2 in the top 5.
2 in the top 5, and really hasn't touched a fence on either horse, which is, I say, bodes well for the Eye Candy squad here this week. Taylor Saint-Jacques and Jacqueline, just an 8-year-old here by Harley VDL out of Zakili, which is by Ona Massar for the next of those to go for Canada. Another one that came up so brilliantly through the equitation classes in the US as well, and now really starting to establish herself in the big leagues of the senior ranks too.
Taylor also had a great show at Toronto just last week. She was 2nd in the 2-star Grand Prix with Jacqueline there. That was an absolutely brilliant round. 34.76 was her time, and she was just pipped by Mark Blumen to the win there, but she had a fantastic show in Toronto and absolutely held her own as a young rider against a whole host of very experienced names. This one previously ridden by Tal Milstein of Israel, and with Jackie as well. She just had one fence down in the 2-star Grand Prix at Traverse City for a 15th place, and now here up to the 5-star level. Another rider who's come up from those North American Youth Championships as well. Competed there back in 2017 for a bronze medal for her team, an individual 4th. Also competed at the Pan American Games in the past as well, that was in 2018.
Double clear for Taylor Sanchak and Jacqueline on the H-Roll Dutch Premier by Harley VDL. Double clear in 37.59 and sees her go into second for the, say, talented young rider from the likes of Fish, who won in the McLaren, winning the medal finals before now. Going into second spot.
26th in the original order now. This is number 157. There's also got set Eddie Z. Southern Arches LLC entry written by Callie Schott.
Moving on to Callie Schott now with Teddy Z, the 11-year-old Zaga side, a stud book by Candilo Z. Now become a nicely established pairing this season. Just a little quicker down to the Dolman fence. In fact, it was a horse I think produced by the Dolmans as well. But this, I say, this has been their year coming together as a partnership. Really nice step up not too long ago in Vancouver, and now really getting used to each other for the Southern Archers team.
Yeah, they won the 2-star Grand Prix or won a 2-star Grand Prix at Vancouver. That was at the Nations Cup show there in June. They were also 3rd in the 2-star Grand Prix in the Major League Show Jumping show at Vancouver. Jumped on the teams for the Crusaders at Traverse City. Just one fence down and then a clear, but as you say, this pair going really from strength to strength, and yes, with ridden by Sandra Dahlman until 2020. Less established at fences of 150 and 160 height, 6 rounds over those 2 heights, but pretty established now at fences of this height. And Callie, of course, had that fantastic 5-star Grand Prix win at Traverse City. That was with Garant. That was her first 5-star Grand Prix win. So she's on quite a run of good form at the moment and has 3 really nice horses that she brings to the 5-star level now: Garant, Charlie and Teddy Z.
Going to finish on a score of 6 from that section 4 from the first, 41.63, total of 10 for Callie Schott and Teddy Z in the end.
Callie getting Teddy ready for the weekend, part of Team Crusader.
Just an
Back
early
into the
rail.
ring, Martin Goldstein Angle with Maroon Jack of Hearts, number 313.
The CP fence. And now moving up as a partnership. Margie Engel and the 10-year-old by a heartbeat, Jack of Hearts. We saw Royce a little bit earlier on. And this was the combination that you mentioned went so well in Angelstone too. We've seen this horse coming through, jumped a lot in Traverse City as well to really start to come on now. 10 years of age, so really ready to go now. Last couple of seasons, seeing this one with Margie now getting more and more exposure into the 5 stars. In fact, the first I think was earlier on this year.
Yeah, they had their first 5-star win at Toronto in the winning round competition. And a horse that Margie's had since October of last year. But this horse is getting more and more consistent as well. He's been in the top 10 4 times out of his last 6 Grand Prix jumped. At Traverse City, they were 3rd in a 3-star Grand Prix in June with a really nice double clear. And they are sitting at about 60% clear round rate, so that shows you how consistent this pair have been. Was formerly ridden by Benedikt Serigstad Endresen of Norway. Margie was really very established at herself at Traverse City for a good few weeks, had quite a lot of good results there and was competing there for quite a while, and certainly did this horse the world of good to be getting as many miles on the clock as possible and then coming to that 5-star win.
Absolutely, yes. Went through some of those build-up in the early part of the year, stepping to the 5-star back into Wellington in Florida back in the early part of 2022, and now finishing on a clear at 35.82 into the 2nd spot for Margie Engel and Jack of Hearts, and this Norwegian produced horse. So another very good potential Grand Prix to go at for Margie. A few remaining as Alberto Michan, Bugatti, Margie Engel, now Jack of Hearts in 2nd, Taylor Jack and Jacqueline in 3rd.
115 in jump text, 160 says Birdie Vito, owned by Ashley Vogel and by Shane Sweetman.
And we will return, I think, to Shane Sweetnam now. Birdie Vito. Irish rider, seeing some into the 2nd rides of some of the riders here. Very good, interesting lineup coming up for us. We're going to see Nicky Gallagher later with Jarvis Miss Jordan. We're going to see Sam Walker, we haven't seen yet. Beezy Man, Breitling LS. Jacqueline Steffens has got a 3rd ride to come. Kent Farrington, of course. Nicolette Hertz into the latter part of the order. Cap Tyree with Newton, that went so well at Angelstone last year as well. And now with Birdie Duto that finished top 10 in the Grand Prix in Traverse City in the 5-star there as well. We have his pupil Ashley Vogel. She spent a bit of time on the sidelines and puts a little bit of speed on to get down over the water. For Shane, of course, as I say a little bit earlier on, heading up those Spy Coast Spies squad. They seem to be one that's getting closer and closer to a potential. Just finding a little bit harder this year. Helios have held them off. We'll see whether they can go 4 from 4, but it's quite a hard one to keep up that record. I think we could see a new name at the top here in Ottawa.
Yeah,
you never know.
No, you don't, but I think it'd be quite some ask, as you say, to get the 4 wins, but they are super competitive as a team, and to be able to have 3 wins with 3 different lineups is pretty impressive. But Spy Coast Spies absolutely knocking on the door. They're still in 2nd in the season standings, but unfortunately an 8th place just takes their number of points down. So Team Helios are on 30, Spy Coast Spies are on 17, so they've got a little bit of ground to catch up.
Nicely around 50.12. Going to be time there for Shane Sweetnam. Nothing too much to worry about over the fences with the 11-year-old by Magic Del Bedito, but it is going to see them at 14 as a score for Shane. Berta Michat, Bugatti still leading, 32.79.
Number 462 coming in the gate at La Porte d'Entrée, Pascal Beto. Take 2 LLC entry written by Vanessa Hood.
bell goes for Vanessa Hood. Cascal Reto, 10-year-old Holsteiner biker Sal, part of the Lugano team, as well trains with Ken Farrington. He's returned recently to the top flight of the sport. He's built up some nice horses around him, went very well down in Wellington this year and has already made a good impression. Also had some top rides in Michigan last year as well. And Vanessa, I think the team quite keen that they get back in the fray here this week, and I think they could play a big one in the team competition here in Ottawa. Vanessa, a lot of pace into her rounds as well, very capable of doing that. Kind of team up with Ken Farrington, I think, for the squad this week.
Yeah, Cascal Reto very much one of Vanessa's top rides, and she's been a key part of Team Lugano, but for whatever reason it's just not quite gone right for the team so far. They haven't made it into the medal jump-offs yet, or in fact into the top 4, unfortunately. But this pair have actually really gone quite well. They were 13th in the 5-star winning round at Traverse City, but just picked up 2 time penalties, so they were really quite close there. Had 4 top 10 finishes at Calgary as well over the course of 4 weeks, jumping there fairly recently. Vanessa on the Diamond Devils team last year, but didn't ride this horse. It's a new combination for Team Lugano. And this is a horse previously with Jana Frederica Meyer-Zimmermann.
He's produced some top-class horses. I think we're just going to get a correction time. There we go. 39.4, and that will put them up in the top few. I think that's going to be, what, a 7th place finish for Vanessa. There we go, confirmed for Vanessa and Cascal Reto. Holsteiner by Casal. This week to Lugano team. We'll see if this is the turnaround. Only 3, of course, completed stages.
Number 439 now.
Jumping left to come. Susan Horn returns once again now. This time for the rider from Kingsfield Farm, Ontario, with Carlo van der Bos Rans, 12-year-old Belgian backgelding by Condense 933. From the lines of Trillo van der Heffing. With Susan Horn's 2nd spin around here for the Canadian rider. And those who's made it onto teams before now.
This is one that Susan's been competing since June of this year, and they've been in the top 10 7 times out of 9 competitions they've jumped. Had 2 wins at 2-star level at Calgary in July, and then just had 1 fence down in the 2-star Grand Prix at Caledon as well. That was in July too, for a 10th place. And this horse was formerly ridden by Samuel Hutton of Great Britain.
Yeah.
Before Susan took it on in June.
Some over into Wellington in the early part of the year. The British rider was with the Abdel Said stable. He and Abdel teaming up, and won nicely in Wellington in the 4 stars. So a newer pairing together for Susan. Again, just getting the inside turn, just getting a little bit of practice at the slice at the fence there. Again, for a newer pairing, not the worst thing in the world to use this opportunity, especially having had a fence down there. Just going to go on the 4, and that, you see, puts them in a time somewhere in the region of our leader, which is 32.79, 32.87, because Alberto Michan took a similar line with Bugatti. Unfortunately, a fence down there for the Canadian, and we'll put her into 14th place for Susan Horn. And Curlew van den Bos. Still Alberto Michan, Bugatti leading, 32.79, Marge Engel, Jack of Hearts in 2nd, Taylor Saint-Jacques and Jacqueline. Paul O'Shea returns across the horizon, and this time aboard Squirt Gun. Of course, his big favourite in the team competitions for Eye Candy, and of course owned by the Eye Candy team. It's the 11-year-old by Diororo from the Quick Star lines. And Squirt Gun back in fine form. It could be a big weapon here this week for the Eye Candy team.
Absolutely, been a fantastic combination for Team Eye Candy last year. He jumped Squirt Gun in Vancouver for 1 down and then a clear. And in 2021, Paul had 6 of his 8 starts for the team with Squirt Gun, and when he competed on the team, he never dropped a single pole with Squirt Gun. Once withdrew, but other than that, jumped clear every single time, which was 9 rounds for the team. And as I say, he contributed to 3 wins and 3 podiums for the team as well.
Just picking up a couple of time in the first phase there for Paul O'Shea and Squirt Gun. Again, not going to worry too much about that one. Just ready to give them a good leg stretch ahead of this week's big competitions. We made the move to the US back in 2011, and just gets over the last, just a little pop up over that one, and we'll see more time in the second phase. 4 in the second phase, all for time, 43.64, 2 in the first. Shane Squirt Gun finishing up 6, goes into 16th place at the moment for the Irishman. Roberto Macham and Bugatti still keeping the lead in this opening Zenith Consulting $1,000 class. Sam Walker, we mentioned him a little bit earlier on, of course, recent back from those North American Youth Championships, running horse from the Evergate Stables, Emelian van der Hoek here. And some team bronze for the Canadians, the young rider team. We saw him win previously with a Vita at the 5-star level, I think in Mexico last year as well. And this year has been bringing on some new horses alongside too, which is going to be really interesting to see as he makes a good strengthening of the string. Another of the Canadians who's gone so brilliantly through the American equitation classes. McLean, top of course in the Washington finals as well. Now built on that for what, 20 years of age. And near Caledon, here in Canada. Well, it's going to be hungry for some win on home ground this week, especially when the crowds get out lining the arena here at the Wesley Clover Parks.
Sam's had a great run with this horse recently. He was 4th in the 5-star Grand Prix at Traverse City, one of the only 4 riders to jump clear in the first round and then make it through to the jump off, and then 8th in the 5-star Grand Prix of Toronto.
Yeah, puts his hand up, deciding to retire there for Sam Walker and Emelian van der Hoek here. Has done enough. So just a quiet little retirement.
For Sam and Emelian, he has to retire.
Hunter Holloway for the US next for the Crusaders. Eastern Jam, the 13-year-old Dutch bred horse for Hunter. Talked about her a little bit earlier on. So featuring in Traverse City with Pepita Conspita. And for them, again, not too many outings into 2022. Long established partnership, but Traverse City there just finding their feet again there.
Yeah, a fourth in the three-star competition with a good double clear, but never dropped more than one pole at Traverse City. Jumped in the five-star two-phase as well to have a clear, and then a couple down in that competition, but generally having clears and four faulting rounds.
Yeah, nice pairing that won at five-star level at Spruce Meadows before now, and again, there's always been a good established partner backing up for Peter Conspita for Hunter Holloway, actually from Tech, Kansas. Yeah, he's taking a long run at the water. Jump set, I think, not quite a shoe coming in, but something came off that. Hunter on the Crusaders team. Same team as the likes of Beezy Madden. I think she's going to, yes she is, because there's a little wave, very friendly goodbye from Hunter Holloway and 13-year-old Eastern Jam. So again, not too much stress for them, they've done enough.
Kirsten van der Veen back into the ring. The bull run jumper is
Kirsten van der Veen, Faustino de Tilly, 17 years of age now. The Belgian-bred horse by Berlin, probably one of the most winning most horses in terms of number of classes in the US. Frosty, as the horse is known, and has continued a little bit of that this year with a nice win in Tryon, but now a little bit older. So 17 years of age now, goes back to the lines of Darko, who has continued to be a #1 finisher throughout. Grand Prix winners in back into Ohio last year as well. Faustino Tilly is a lovely one to watch for the Roadrunners team. Desert Horse Park. Looks like she's going to have a little quiet spin. Had a very quiet spin with her first horse. I think she was just going on the flat there. So after all that build-up, we're saving the energy. She's just going on the flat.
Just getting a bit of a look around the arena.
Yeah, exactly.
A little few around our field today.
So Frosty saving the jump.
So following that smoothing opportunity, number 517 will jump to the next
touch of the grass here in this arena here in Ottawa. And Medini Diar for the Dynamite Ranch, longest established partnership now. 10-year-old by Hunter Zendix on this mare. He's ridden for a good few seasons again. Traverse City finishing well there for this partnership. And nice to see, as we did a little bit earlier on, new horse into the string for Connor into the international classes. But this is one that also went well in Tryon. But their first appearances for this year as part of Major League was in Traverse City in the early part of August.
Yeah, nice double clear in the two-phase competition there for a top 10 finish. Also jumped in the winning round competition at Traverse City as well, just picking up 7 penalties there. So quite a good show for them. As you say, also competed at Tryon for a second place and a double clear in the 3-star 1m50 class.
this very good combination. Good addition to the Trailblazers this year. 40.25 into 8th, so just picks up the one time fault there for Conor Reagan and Medini DR.
Nice smooth trip around for Conor.
Just one time fault drops them into 8th place at this stage.
223 looking at the water now. This is Ahmed Crossing. Another right ride for Grant Sager. 3 Fox crossing.
Well, Sager once again now for the US rider. Second combination here being Cantuccini. For this partnership also into their first 5-star together, set up in Tryon a few weeks ago. Cantuccini at 11-year-olds by Cloney. First time into the Major League jumping for this pair on the grass field.
Yeah, first time for this pair. As you say, they were jumping at Tryon, but Grant had some really good results at Toronto with his other horses. He was 3rd in the 2-star Grand Prix with Yogi and was 7th in the 5-star Grand Prix with the horse Frida. One of the 7 riders to get into the jump-off in that 5-star Grand Prix last week. Cantuccini coming up for him now as well, and it's nice to see him have a few good rides at the top level. Looks like he's also
the rider from Aiken deciding to retire there.
Yeah, Grant Sager indicating to the jury he's retiring with Cantuccini and
Cantuccini and Grant Sager for the US.
They've done enough on the field for today to prepare themselves.
One Ortiz, Kinky Boy Van Hesse Gildenhof. 12-year-old gelding, Belgian bred by Nabat Garev. And again, a good few stages for this combination now for the Venezuelan rider. The Show Plus Northern Lights team.
Yeah, Juan's always been sort of there or thereabouts. He had a little bit of an unfortunate performance in Toronto in the 5-star Grand Prix, had a few fences down, but finished 15th there. But, you know, he says that really that arena didn't quite suit the horse so well. As you can see, it's quite a big horse and quite a big striding horse as well. He feels that this arena will suit the horse a little bit better. But certainly a horse that you know, needs to be a little bit fresh for competitions, and one that is very much at the top of Juan's string. Had a top 10 finish in a 5-star jump-off class as well at Traverse City. Jumped very well at Tryon as well in the 3 stars. A couple of top 10s. And there just heads through the first 5 fences before deciding to call that a day.
Yeah, was just with the aim of doing exactly that, just popping a few fences early on to just get used to this arena and saving the jump for later on into the for One Ortiz. Home ground in terms of for their team here for the Show Plus Northern Lights. Emma Marlowe, Cherokee, the 15-year-old by Cardenso for the rider into her 2nd season at 5-star level. Emma the ride for the Trelawney Farm, been a fantastic opportunity for her, riding for the Careys, and has been one she's relished, including also having this year been with us in Vancouver back a few weeks ago. Traverse City, of course, back onto the teams there, and Emma now becoming a very consistent rider for the squad as well. There's been a lot of clears and falls in there.
Yeah, lots of clears and falls. A good clear for the team at Traverse City. for this pair. Also had a 7th place in the 140 two-phase 5-star competition at Traverse City, so a competition pretty much identical to this, just quite a different setting and a pretty different arena there. Got a format perhaps that suits them.
And variety is the spice of it. Grass arenas, of course, coming up later into the year as well. We're going to have a mix of those and surface. There's Mexico, 2 beautiful grass arenas there too. The new grass arena at the Desert Horse Park as well. Of course, we'll be switching between those and the surface arena under the lights as we head there in December. Traverse City, of course, lovely holiday spot there for the American Gold Cup, which will be the Grand Prix. And of course, the traditional team class is into the 2nd year now of Major League Jumping takes place there in Michigan in a few weeks' time in September.
Over the last, and that is 6 halts on the...
Just going to be the time in there. 2 for time in the first, 6 going to be in the second, 41.31. Well, it is going to be there with a total
And a really nice jump
of
around
8.
on the Cherokee, just a little unlucky run there at 10.
2 there
So you're
for
training a little bit
Emma
down
Marlowe
to that
and
one big
Cherokee
jump.
in phase 2. So 2 in the
Be ready
first,
when
6
you
in the
begin.
second. Leaves them on a score of 8, 18th place with Cherokee for Emma Marlowe, again for the Trailblazers.
Number 411 at the ring, le 411 maintenant pour cette épreuve de défense de Zenith Consulting.
Hyde Moffat returning now with Donjo for the Canadian rider. Again for the Florian team. Donjo, the 14-year-old. Dashboard gelding by VDL Zorocco Blue. Hyde Moffat. Again riding here as an individual rider. Representing the home nation, Canada.
Yeah, this one's had a little bit of a break from competition as well. It's a horse that Hyde most recently competed internationally in February of this year. Jumped this horse up to 4-star at Wellington, but given it a good few months off, so comes hopefully quite fresh to this competition and steps up to the 5-star level as well.
Bradford, Ontario. This well-established horse takes a little turn away, little step out over the water. Tons of room afterwards. It's just again about getting a chance to take a little hop over it in the early part of the week. Inside that time of 52, it's 51.51. And there we go, hops round easily enough. 38.91 going to be inside the time for both of those sections. 2 zeros on the scorecard for Hyde Moffat into 6th place so far with Donjo. Set up nicely for the rest of the week. Alberto Michan still leading with Bugatti. Marge Engel, Jack of Hearts, Taylor Saint-Jacques and Jacqueline is the highest placed Canadian in 3rd.
At the opposite end of the ring is number 181.
Swale. Jump is Theo 160 from the Phillip Arts family. The 10-year-old Holsteiner by Christian 25. Again, Connor with probably the strongest firepower he's had of horses in recent times. He was 8th place as well at the World Cup finals this year with Count Me In, the horse he rode to second in that Dublin Grand Prix just last week. And of course onto the winning Nations Cup team. Theo 160 been getting more and more exposure this year with him, and actually was on the teams in Traverse City a few weeks ago as well.
Yeah, on the team for Eye Candy at Traverse City, just 1 fence down. Them there, I believe they finished in 5th as a team. He also had just 1 fence down, just 3 for time, excuse me, in the 142 phase competition. Again, very similar class to this, for a 15th place. He jumped this horse at Tryon as well for a win and a 6th place. Also took this horse to Vancouver for 2 weeks actually for the Major League Show Jumping Show, and stayed there for the Nations Cup show as well. Had a win there in the June week, and also came 3rd in a 150 5-star class at the Major League Show Jumping show.
And of course winning team in T-Bird as well for that Nations Cup back into early June, and unfortunately takes that one out with no doubt. Meter over the second with this combination together. Again, Connor having a few choices of where to place the horses this week. See what his thoughts are after today's competition, but just going to be a few to add in different directions. Of course, 4 in that second section there to add up to a total of 30, 12 in the first, 8 in the second, makes bigger reading in the actual round. 53.5 there for Connor Swale. It's the vertical there for him. Big jump over the Cabana Coast fence and just looking a little more settled finish. Jordan Coyle now, Costa Diam, 10-year-old by Compagnie Chandon. Part of the Spy Coast Spies again. Last year, of course, going into Grand Prix wins at the Desert Horse Park. The last few weeks, back into June, late May, was the winner in Vancouver in the Grand Prix there on the Major League Jumping. So, see a little bit more of this horse this season. A few well-established ones within, like Picador. This one getting a bit more ring time now as well.
Yeah, Picador and Ariso, of course, 2 of Jordan's really top rides. Obviously, he was the 5-star Grand Prix winner at the Vancouver leg of Major League Show Jumping as well. But Costa Diam also at the 5-star level and getting 2 top 10 finishes for him at Traverse City. 10th in the winning round competition and 8th in the speed class. Jumping really nicely for him there. He also took this horse to Calgary for 2 more top 10 finishes, 1 in a 2-star jump-off competition and 1 in a 5-star speed class there as well. So it's certainly a horse that's good on the clock as well as over the fences.
Through time in that first section there.
Jordan probably also looking for ranking points for the overall season standings as well, you know, with that early win. That was certainly a great start for him. Didn't jump at the Major League leg in Toronto. Of course, there, as I say, at Traverse City. Unfortunately, didn't quite go his way in the team competition. Was riding for Spy Coast Spies and sadly was eliminated in the final round, but still got the team in 2nd place.
Section 1, 3 and Section 2.
And so Jordan Coyle, 3 and 3 from the two sections, finishing on a score of 6:42.8 for Jordan Coyle and Costa Diam for the Irish rider.
Nanini van Dant in police is next. Aaron Ballard riding for Ivan Herder and Esperanza in foils.
Erin Ballard again for the Lugano teams, the Canadian with a 9-year-old here. Belgian bred by Cannon. It is out of a mare by Heartbreaker. Nanini van Dabelen. And it is going to be for the Canadian just returned from those World Championships. Rode Gakia in Herning. And for her is Nanini. Really had the recent very good run in Calgary as well for this pair. And a few solid finishes there. And actually headed across to Europe, to Rome a little bit earlier this season too.
Yeah, jumped at Calgary for some good results, as you say. That was at 2-star level, and then went to Rome, jumping in at the Piazza di Siena. They had a 9th place in a 5-star meter 45 class there. It was a competition with a jump off. Also jumped at Le Ball and in Kronenberg as well. 7th place in a 2-star at Kronenberg and a 9th in a 5-star at Le Ball. So pretty much a top 10 finish at every show so far.
Keep that up, but it won't be a bad week. Inside the time, 47.19 for Erin Ballard and Nanini. Keeping a little bit of pace about this. Could be a nice little finish for them. Again, prize money not going to be the biggest on this class, because that's not really the intention with this one. This is about getting them out of the ring. But even so. There we go. Finishes nicely. 35.9. Goes clear into 3rd place there for Erin Ballard and Nanini and Dabra Drief.
That puts them into
for that.
3rd place.
Coffee paid for the week. There we go. Erin Ballard, nice fine start. Key part is lovely forward moving combination. Really looks confident on the turf there, and looking forward to seeing how they perform. Of course, she's from Tottenham, Ontario, so not too far away. Natalie Dean, Lugano teams. Kota M, 9-year-old by Toulon. To the German lines of Quattro 7 for Natalie. It's originally heading for the West Coast, San Francisco. And Kota M. Getting their experience in Traverse City and in Wellington in the early part of the year in the U25s. Not been used pretty sparingly so far this year, but again a fairly new ride to them, having come together in October of last year. Well, that was the last outing for the horse and rider under German ownership back last year in Wiesbaden.
Yeah, as you say, not too many starts this year so far. Wellington earlier in the year, and then Traverse City. Natalie jumped this horse in the 2-star and the 3-star competitions. Generally having a couple of fences down in those, so interesting to see how they go now that they step up to 5-star. Yeah, generally it's 1 or 2 fences down for this pair this year, but as you say, less than 10 competitions for Natalie with this horse so far in their career together, so really they've got a good way to develop. You know, they've certainly got time. This horse, as you say, ridden in Germany by Heinrich Richter in Riesenbeck, and Lastrup jumping in the 2-star competitions. But the horse just a 9-year-old. So great to see Natalie just giving a nice educational round here.
One time in the first, 3 in the second phase, 42.21 at Caterham, just finishing up with a score of 4 for Natalie Dean. And to another Canadian home rider, but home based a little bit further away in Calgary, Alberta. It is Vanessa Katinka, 25. Large part of her career, a long-time partnership, training with Connor Swale. Some super horses as well. And this has been strongest partnership so far, Katinka. So again, has really, after a good start in Wellington this year, gone very nicely here in Canada.
Yeah, they come here from Langley, of course, near Vancouver, with 4 top 10 finishers at 3-star level. Very, very strong performances there, and no poles dropped across those 4 competitions either. So a 5th, a 3rd, a 9th, and a 4th for them on the record. That was just a couple of weeks ago. Also jumped at Calgary for 3 more top 10 finishers. So they really are becoming more and more consistent. She also had a 2nd and a 3rd at Vancouver in June as well. Jumped it in the 5-star competitions at the Major League Show Jumping Show at Vancouver. A little way down the running there, but interestingly, having 1 or 2 fences down in those competitions, now they are pretty consistently keeping all the fences up. It's just had a little bit of a period there, just getting back used to each other. Vanessa has 2 horses here this week, Katinka, and then a new ride, one that she says that she's very, very excited about.
Yeah, it's got some really exciting new power into the string for Vanessa. Fantastic horsewoman, taken across, not just in the ring, she goes and gets involved in everything here in Canada. She's a great sportswoman. 4 jumping in the second part, 1 time in the first, 43.24, total 5 there for Vanessa Max. And Katinka, 24. Trail riding this week though, it is confined to this beautiful grass arena here in Ottawa. So just a bit of cloud cover and a bit cooler here this evening, but not unwelcome. And pleasant enough, good for the horses. And looking forward to a good few days ahead here. This new Canadian stage as part of Major League Show Jumping.
Hey, correction there, 419, got ahead of myself on the list. This is Darius and
Sean Jobin now. Darius, 14-year-old Dutch-bred gelding for Sean. By warrant. And again, as we mentioned a little bit earlier on, first season for him as part of the Major League Jumping. And this is the one that's really putting him in the limelight at the moment. Finished well in Tryon, and also solid in Lexington, and at the tail end of last year in Tryon once again.
Yeah, he jumped this horse in the 5 stars at Traverse City as well. Just had 1 down in the winning round competition there. But as you say, going well in Tryon for a 2nd place in a 3-star competition and a 6th at Lexington. He also had 2 top 10 finishes at Saugerties. That was though last year. So they've really been going well this year so far, but had quite a break from competition. The horse, Sean, not on the Show Plus Northern Lights team this week, but as we were saying earlier, got a great joining the team and their teammates. Northern Lights really coming up as well. They've had some very good performances, and they're certainly knocking on the door. You know, they're 5th in the overall season standings, but actually the points are very, very close indeed.
I was going to say, I'll let you dig through for a second and give us the points of the teams and how it sits this year in a second. I'll let you run through that, but it is going to be clean over the line. It's going to be time though in the first part, but that fence staying up at the last, but unfortunately 4 in the second phase there. 2 and 4, total of 6, 36-1-2 for Sean Jobin and Darius.
A great smooth round there from Sean and Darius. A little rub, and the commanding post officer comes down, riding for the Northern Lights.
And back to number 113, a second introduction now for Carlin Van Denhoff and Lacey Gilbertson from Seabrook at LL.
Lacey Gilbertson now. And Carlin van Vinnerhoff, 12-year-old by Fantomas Tamuz. Well, there we go. I said let's have a little run down. What are we expecting from teams this week, Hannah? You said it's pretty close. Give me a rundown, because the top team are running away with it a little bit at the moment, but it's probably going to be a good way for them to start making some ground at this week.
Yeah, 100%. Helios, as you say, are really quite up at the top of the leaderboard. They're on 30 points, of course, maximum points from all 3 legs so far, giving them a total of 30. Spyco Spies had 2 good second place finishers just behind Helios, but unfortunately not the result that they wanted in Toronto leaves them on 17, so there's quite a gap then from Helios down to Spyco Spies. But if you bear in mind then that Team Eye Candy are on 15 points, that's just 2 behind Spyco Spies, and then actually 3 points separate the places 3 to 6. So 3rd is Team Eye Candy, 4 is Crusaders, 5th is the Show Plus Northern Lights, and then the Roadrunners in 6th place. They're on 12 points, so you know, we could really see these standings being shaken up quite considerably, I think, this week, because only 1 point separates a lot of these teams, and as I say, 3 separate 4 different placings. The Trailblazers are on 10, but that's only a couple of points down to them, so again we could see them coming up because they've got a pretty strong lineup here this week. Team Logano sadly trailing away at the bottom of the leaderboard at the moment, but it's quite an early stage of the season. They just have 6 points though. They had a 6th, a 7th and an 8th place finish so far, so struggling a little bit just to gel together as a team, but they really do have one of the strongest lineups. I mean, we've got some extremely strong lineups in pretty much all of the teams, but you know, they do have former world number 1 Kent Farrington on their squad as well, Natalie Dean on that squad as well. Very, very talented team, and they just need to really have a good result this week to get them back in the mix among those other teams.
It is a total of 11 overall. 1 time in the first, 10 total in the second, 49-54 there for Lisa Gilbertson and Colin Van Vennerhoff. Like you say, I think we might see some movement this week. We'll give you some of those team lineups tomorrow as well, so as those come in for being confirmed. Rate the carry, Cedric, 50-year-old by Ductro for the Trailblazers.
Trailblazers, as I say, they're in 7th place at the moment, but they're really not too far behind because, you know, for example, if they win and Spyco Spies come last, they would actually overtake them in terms of points.
Yeah.
So that's how tight things are.
Yeah, suddenly sort of quite a move up, we'll see. Cara, former rider, onto the US team for Pan Am Games. For now, she was a medalist at Pan Am Games. And for her, last outing actually for Major League and internationally was back into Thermal last year. This is her first time back in the big leagues again. It's nice to see her back out with the ride here of longtime partner Cedric.
Yeah, and this is the horse that she rode at Thermal at the end of last year. She was on the team there, just had a few fences down. She also competed at the Mexican legs as well at Monterrey and at San Miguel de Allende as well. Both times on the team competition as well. Helped the team to a 7th place in Monterrey and a 2nd at San Miguel. But quite a regular competitor at the Major League show jumping shows last year. But just kicking her off her campaign for 2022. Cedric really pretty experienced over, you know, your 140, 145 height fences. Little less experienced over sort of 155 to 160. She's actually jumped this horse, or this horse has jumped 54 rounds over 1.45 meter height fences.
And just completing over the last for Cara Wraith-Kerry, 47.04 and 12 in each of the phases for Cara and Cedric. Just a reminder, it's Alberto Michan and Bugatti leading on 32.79. Margie Engel in second with Jack of Hearts on 35.82, and Erin Ballard Nanini and Double Drift in third with 35.1. Returning with Tana Karotkin now, as you mentioned a little bit earlier, recent team silver for the 21-year-old at the Young Rider Championships in Traverse City. Of course, next stage as we return there for the Major League Jumping. Tournament of Champions kicking off next week. 3 big weeks: Silver Oak tournament, and finally Major League incorporated within that American Gold Cup meeting as well. And now the 21-year-old who was riding Ideal, the same horse that he rode at the Young Rider Championships, he returns with today. The 10-year-old Swedish-bred horse by Cardento for Tana.
Yeah, he was fantastic with this horse early on in the week at the North American Youth Championships. He led after the opening class. That was a speed competition, so picking up no penalties at all, because of course that was one with a differential calculated score for the first round of the speed competition. He then dropped into third place after the second individual competition, the team final, but sadly on the individual final day it just did not go his way, and he finished in eventual 21st. But he'd been fantastic all week, and it was a real shame not to pick up an individual medal for him. But he competes Ideal up to 5-star level. Had a good second place in a 5-star class at Vancouver in June as well. In fact, 3 5-stars at the very same show. Only dropping 1 pole there across 5 rounds jumped. Also jumped this horse at the Major League Show Jumping Show in Vancouver as well. And again, having a good double clear in the 2 phase, just 1 down in a speed class. And you know, we were also saying as well, Tana had that great win at Traverse City in a speed class, so he's definitely a rider to watch on the clock.
Certainly is. Could be a good team combination for the Spinco Spies here this week. 10 o'clock and Ideal. Another lovely combination is Nicky Galligan, Jarvis Miss Jordan, 13-year-old Irish-bred horse by Louis Dam, out of mare Ali Angel. And for the Irishman, it's been a partnership that have been a long time in the making. Again, shown some pretty good consistency for this pair. Last time out, I'm just trying to remember now.
Yeah, they were very good at Traverse City with a 10th place in the 5-star Grand Prix. He also jumped in the team competition at Traverse City as well, and jumped in Vancouver as well with this horse. Don't believe he had this in Toronto. Yeah, he jumped in the 5-star Grand Prix at Toronto, but that's right, retired in that competition. As I was saying earlier, there was a really difficult triple combination there, and we had a good few retiring in that competition. But the horse is a 13-year-old now, and they've had a lot of top 10 finishes together.
Yep, in their prime as they run at the moment, and a pair that last year as well had a nice win at the Hampton Classic, and I think Hand going up there. deciding that they've done enough.
Nikki and John deciding to retire today. So you can get a nice gallop across the field, take a little walk through our crowd over here, and he's competing for Trailblazers this week.
Nick Delajoyo. Again, having a very good season, putting Grand Prix wins behind him this year already as well. Actually finished second in that Grand Prix with Cornets Cambridge in Traverse City in the 5-star there. Just following on from a win in the Grand Prix in Wellington back into April of this year, and Contargus this time around. It was the horse he rode into the teams in Traverse City as well.
Yes, he did. Also at Toronto as well. But it's a relatively new partnership for him. He just had one down and then a clear at Traverse City. But in Toronto, he had 2 clear rounds. Clear in the first round and then a clear in the first jump off, helping Team Crusaders to a 2nd place. He didn't bring this horse forward in the 5-star Grand Prix in Toronto. Aimed it at the team competition, but that's only the horse's 2nd international competition with Nick, and really just getting to know each other. But the horse has got so much potential. One that came from Poland, from Przemysław Koniopacki.
Moving so far, the leading scorer Bertumisha and Bugatti on 32.79. Just takes a hold around there. Again, a good opportunity to test the buttons here in this class for what might come up for team later on in the week for the Crusader squad. For Nick Delajoyo, just steadies a little more. He's got a bouncing stride around to the vertical. A little tight run up there, just drops an extra stride in for a couple of time faults to 41.27, but as I say, not too much to worry about, just gauging their comfort zone there for Contargus and Nick Delajoyo, the 11-year-old. As I say, could well be making an appearance for the team this week, we'll see, for the Crusaders. Nick Delajoyo, horse that's certainly got pace. And for Nick, so been a very, very good season for him so far. Quentin Judge now, his first appearance here. H.H. Zorro's there, the 9-year-old by Zorocco Blue for Quentin. Again, he's been quietly bringing this horse on through this year. Alberto Micha and Bugatti still at the top, 32.79. Quentin, well, he's ridden through to World Cup finals. Originally came back from Chicago. Two horses coming to the top flight for him with Enjoy as well. Also got an outing in Spruce Meadows, and just jumped round for 4 faults in the Grand Prix in T-Bird as well.
Yeah, they've been going increasingly well, as you say. You know, jumping at Vancouver, also jumped at Traverse City in the 5-star competitions. Had a few penalties there in the 5-star Grand Prix for a 30th place finish, but in the top 20 in the speed class. Had a 3rd place in a 2-star competition at Wellington as well earlier in the year, but he gave the horse a little bit of a break off. It's not one that he's competed too heavily really this year so far. Perhaps one that prefers to jump in fewer competitions but stay a little bit fresher. Of course, so important for the riders to manage what the horses do and manage their schedules and workloads, if you like.
with the 4 faults.
Well, clear in the first section, 7 in the second, 42-13 there, 3 for time for Quentin Judge and HH Zorro Z in that second phase. Cali shot once again now, Garant, 11-year-old Dutch bred by Warrant, second horse in this class by Warrant.
Another entry of Southern Arches LLC.
More established with his former ride of trainer BC Madden. Garant out of C'est La Vie by Verdi.
Yeah, former ride of BC Madden, but Callie was so emotional when she won the 5-star Grand Prix at Traverse City. It was her first 5-star Grand Prix win. And it was just so brilliant, you know, as I say, 4 riders going through to that jump off. It was such a tough course. But a fantastic win there.
Yeah, lovely for this pair to get that behind them and, you know, then establish themselves as the next pairing together as a partnership. It was what, 4 of them jumped off?
Yeah, 4 in the jump off and only 2 double clear actually as well. So she was the fastest of those. And you look at the time, you perhaps don't think it sounds like an extremely fast time, but it really was. She really went for it to the end, and the fact that she was one of only 2 riders keeping a double clear was really quite something.
Yeah, it's been a year where she's really stepped up nicely, as you say, with Teddy Z having that win in Vancouver, and then moving on to that 5-star win in Traverse City just a few weeks ago. Certainly builds the confidence.
Again, taking quite a steady approach, just making sure that Garant has all the time needed to have a good look around the course and around the arena. Perhaps an arena that you think might suit this horse, because he really can kind of gallop, and you know, she really took out strides at Traverse City. That was a bit of a smaller arena than here, so it'd be interesting to see how they do go here.
Yeah, 6 and 3, score of 9, but again, as you say, not too much to worry about there. 42.09 time for Kelly's shot, and Traverse City winners, got it. And winners last year at Angelstone actually had several wins as part of Major League Jumping last season. Cat Tyree, Newton, Van Head, Kikkelhoff, 9-year-old. Nagris won there last year as an 8-year-old, went very well indeed. The Belgian bred gelding by Demont de Semi from the line of Contact Van der Heffink. Several established horses that she's had through her hands at international level through the last few years, and now this one really looking impressive. To could well be one of the best yet, we'll see.
Catherine's had this horse in try-on for a good few weeks this summer. She's had 3 top 10 finishes at that one venue alone this summer, and jumped 3 double clears. Never dropping more than 1 pole at trial, and that was, as I say, their most recent venue. Jumped at Devon as well in June. and at North Salem in May. Again, very rarely drops more than one pole.
Very good runs, of course, with Buckeye and BEC Lorenzo, but good to see this one moving up more and more. Former ride, 1 point of Daniel Deusser of Germany and Jona Egberg coming from the Stefex team. And nicely done. 33.63, and we'll go into second spot for Katsari, Newton, Van Head, Kirkelhoff. Alberto Michan keeping the lead with Bugatti on 32.79. Margie Engel now in third with Jack of Hearts.
Really nice round there from Catherine and Newton. Nice and fast, very smooth. Ready for
Lovely,
the
consistent pair that looking forward to seeing more of throughout the season. Second spot at this stage, Alberto Michan keeping the lead, 32.79. Draw tonight for the team competition, as is now the tradition for Major League Jumping. They don't just draw them out of a hat, they have to go and work for it. I can tell you, have a look on the social media, tonight is hockey. We are, of course, in Canada, and they are going to have to work for their slot of the team and try out their hockey skills. See, and nothing too dangerous, just going to be getting the stick and ball together, but it's ball or puck they're going to use, but we're going to see. It is going to be who comes out on top, though, that will be the leading team going in on Saturday. Kent Farrington, not sure about his hockey skills, they're certainly about his riding skills, and they are top class. Kent Farrington and Orafine, the 10-year-old Dutch bred bear, by full fashion. Kent, really exciting string around him at the moment, and again has been a consistent top 10 rider in the world. American Grand Prix winner, hails originally from Chicago, and has been more US Canadian based this year, but a terrific run in Spruce Meadows, of course, which is an arena he's dominated many times over the years. This pair having a nice several group of 5-star wins there, and of course came out top in the Grand Prix in Vancouver in the Nations Cup there at Thunderbird, the second week of the 2 5-stars. First week being Major League, second being Nations Cup at Thunderbird. Fabulous few weeks. The Tidballs set up over on the west coast.
Kent had an amazing show at Toronto last week as well. He said that he was having a little bit of a development year with some of these horses, but won a lot.
Yeah.
Just
because you're developing doesn't mean you can't be winning.
Exactly, yeah. I think those were very close to his words.
Yeah. Yeah, no, they've been getting some great experience this year. I'm very excited to see how he comes out in 2023, because he's going to have a really hot string of horses to go to.
Yeah, they all jumped extremely well. He was doing so well in the speed classes as well, and in the winning round competition. In a couple of competitions it was a little bit of a head-to-head with him and Daniel Blumen, both of them right up at the top of things in so many of the competitions, Kent having wins at 5-star and 2-star level last week. But as you say, jumped so well at Vancouver, also had 3 wins with Orafina at Calgary in June and July. 3 5-star wins. This is the horse that he also jumped at Windsor, just for the 1 fence down in the Grand Prix there, 5-star Grand Prix.
Time faults in the first section.
Going to take them to 3 in the first phase, 5 in the second. All of those on the clock there for Ken Farrington and Orafina.
Another beautiful smooth round out there working for Martina, riding for Lugano.
To watch out for again. Grand Prix later on this week. Thomas Joffre, Cadora, his long-time partner as well. They've been Grand Prix winners in Traverse City before now.
56 in the order, number 455 down. Exceptional 55. En 455 Cadora.
12-year-old by Carantino too, the Holsteiner mare. The teams for Argentina earlier on the season into Nations Cup as well.
Thomas was on the Spy Coast Spies team at Toronto, but his was that unfortunate round where he sadly parted ways with Cardora. But they've had some good other results. Had a 5th place in the Grand Prix, 5-star Grand Prix at Traverse City, just picking up the 2 time faults. Also had a 5th place in a 2-star at Tryon, and a win at Traverse City in September of last year, so quite a good venue for them. Horse previously ridden by Alessa Hennings of Germany. That was up until 2017 though, so this has been a fairly long-term partner for Thomas.
And Thomas Joffre there deciding to retire. And the Argentinians are coming to the latter stages of this Zenith Consulting class. So just a real chance for us to just run through some of those you're going to experience seeing here this week. Jacqueline Steffens, we've seen a couple of rides from her already. We're going to see a third. Funk Yeah. 8-year-old, a Hanoverian by Messenger. A German bred horse by Out of Senlotte by Centadel. We've seen this a couple of times this season, but again, being an 8-year-old, will be used sparingly, one would imagine.
Yeah, not too many outings for them yet. Primarily at 2-star level in Calgary is where they've really jumped so far. But as you say, just an 8-year-old, so quite a new one for Jacqueline. But with 3 rides here in this 5-star competition, it's clear that she's already got quite a strong string, and it's great to have this one coming up to the 5-star level as well now at quite a young age. She also rode this horse in the opening 5-star class at Toronto. So now in this second run in the 5 stars, going well.
And coming home very nicely, it is going to be clear there, 39.19. Again, a good chance for this horse to get some mileage on this lovely grass arena here in Ottawa. 8-year-old Funk Yeah and Jacqueline Steffens going clear once again. Puts her in 9th place. Best result for her so far is 6th place at the moment. It was an early leader with Cat Ninja. But again, not too worried about what happens today, more about what happens in the next few days. But again, good preparation for the upcoming Mark Kinsella now, Quality H, 11-year-old Hanoverian by FRH Quaid. The German red ride again out competing in Spruce Meadows a few weeks ago.
Had a good 5th place at Spruce Meadows in June, as you say, a few weeks ago in a 3-star competition. And he also took this horse to Traverse City to jump in the 2 stars.
Yeah, this year, the middle part of this year, first time they've been starting to take this horse into the international FEI competitions for Mark.
Mark also jumped in the 5-star Grand Prix in Toronto, but that was with the horse Dorindo, a little bit of an older ride for him. Didn't quite go their way, but had it entered in the 5-star Grand Prix. This is a horse that was formerly ridden by Ben Asselin of Canada as well.
Yeah, Ben was a Nations Cup rider for the Canadians from Calgary. And there we go, down the final run there. 11 in the first, 7 in the second, and so we'll see them at a score of 18, 46 at 87 for Mark Kinsella there and Quality H. Just around 5 left to go in this Zenith Consulting class. Vanessa Hood makes the second spin now with Connor, former ride of Steve Moore and Teddy Vlock, of course, a newer one into her string into 2022, and just been building up nicely. Few of the 2 stars, few of the 5 stars, just dipping their toe in there into the 5 stars, and this week now they've had a few more rounds underneath them, getting into the 5-star competitions again here. So it's a newer pairing for Vanessa. She's been strengthening the string up. Easy Girl also joined the string this year, getting ready to go to battle. Lugano Diamonds team, and I think we're going to see a lot more of her competing in the big classes individually as well.
Yeah, for sure. She's had a good few rides, as you say, at that very good level at the moment. Jumped in pretty much all of the Major League show jumping legs this season. She's had quite a few weeks in Traverse City and had this horse competing quite extensively, as you say, it right the way up to 5-star level, but some 5 stars, some 3 stars. Jumped this horse at Calgary as well a little bit earlier on. She had a few weeks there as well.
But a bit like Coach Kent Farrington this year in a slightly different way. It's been a development year for her, coming back into the top flight. She's ridden through to World Cup finals before in her career. She took a break. She's coming back into it now. She's grown the string. Few new horses in there, a few well-established ones, you know, and has again got back through the amateurs, back into the 2 stars, now back into the 5-star level. And this has been the year really to find the feet again. And under very good guidance for that too, but super rider with a lot of talent. 51.75 in phase 1. Going to be a very good asset to that Lugano team.
Lugano having their best performance so far of the year, so far in Toronto. 2 good clears And then heavy faulting round from Carly Fairty, but two good clears from Natalie Dean and Erin Ballard. But Vanessa certainly a key part of the team.
Yeah, just going to finish on 7 today, and 4 and time there for Vanessa Hood and Connor.
Great round there from Vanessa and Connor. Connor looks like he's really enjoying himself out there.
Beezy
Nice
Man,
and relaxed and ready to go.
Brightening Ellis from World Cup wins, double Olympic gold medalist. This 16-year-old horse that she rode to win the World Cup finals previously. Quintero, Mexican bred horse from LS, being La Silla. Of course, we head to La Silla in November of this year as well, Monterey. Not only their well-known venue, but their well-known stud book and breeding program. Beezy, part of the Crusaders team, and also training several here. But lovely to see this pairing back out, and usually showing their usual consistency. Again, this will just be a nice spin round for them to set up for a big class or two.
Yeah, they have been very consistent, as you say, over the course of the year and in previous seasons as well. They had a good 5th place in a 3-star Grand Prix at Wellington. That was back in April. Also had a good 5th in a 5-star Grand Prix at Calgary in June.
Yeah, going back to April, really just the start of the campaign, just to start stepping up into the international classes once again into 2022 at a little bit of a light start to the year.
She jumped this horse at Traverse City as well. Had a little bit of a shock in the 5-star Grand Prix there. There was a fence right at the end of the course that was really catching the eye of a lot of horses, and unfortunately that's what happened for this pair. But they had been 12th with just 1 time penalty in the 5-star speed class as well earlier that week. So 1 good round under their belts.
Easy just saying, whoa, just let's have a little bit of a conversation. Easy, who's been supremely one of the best riders in the world for a highly accoladed career. There we go, just bringing them home. Under the 50 seconds, it's going to be 47, 48 because there's time faults in there as well. So 8 in each of the rounds, and 16 the score for Beezy Man and Breitling LS this time.
Number 205, at the ring, Sam Walker back again, this time with the Marble Hill Farm entry 80.
Sam Walker mentioned this combination a little bit earlier on. Evita, 13-year-old Dutch-bred mare by Cantarano, in his last season as well. Of course, he was the winner on this horse in the Derby at Spruce Meadows a few weeks ago as well. And then last few weeks, he's been back under the eyes of Major League Jumping.
Yeah, Major League Jumping, but he comes here from the North American Youth Championships. Again, he had 2 fantastic rounds, or 2 fantastic performances, and as an individual, and picked up the team bronze medal for the Canadian team. He was 2nd after round 1 in that speed class, then 3rd after the 2nd individual and the team competition. Then sadly, 2 fences down, 1 in each round in the individual final. That dropped him into 16th place. But prior to that, he jumped well at Calgary as well for that win, as you were saying. Also had a 2-star win there with this horse. But the horse had had a little bit of a break from competition before that. And their previous competition was the Major League show at Monterey. That was back in November of last year. But he had a good 3rd place in one of the 5-star jump-off classes there at San Miguel de Allende as well. He had 2 wins. So he's been very successful at the Major League shows, nicely to the last, and that looks pretty quick.
Yep, good round at 31.8. New leader with the final throws of the class still coming into action. And Sam Walker, Evita, 31.8, will lead the way. Just trying to get the Canadians off to a good start with a nice win, maybe for that Showplus Northern Lights team. So 31.8 now the leading time, just with a couple left to have a spin. I think maybe just one, two, I think, yeah. Kelly Robinson. Another Canadian, Blues Your Daddy, 15-year-old by Mr. Blue. Guess it's easy to work out where the name came from. And for her, again, mainly competing here in Canada. And Blues Your Daddy, who's competed through to World Cup level, actually previously, a few seasons ago, on Nations Cup down in Ocala. But competing individually there as part of the squad, but again it's been at several big Grand Prix. Combinations that are less familiar to us on Major League, but good to have them here in Ottawa here this week.
Yeah, and again it's a pair who've had a little bit of a break from competition, haven't been competing internationally since 2019 with this horse, but then she took it to Toronto last week. Jumped in the 2-star Grand Prix qualifier for just 5 penalties, which had them in a pretty good place going into the 2-star Grand Prix. That's where they had then 2 fences down for a 28th place finish, so not a bad performance there at all. But as I say, those at the 2-star level, and now they step up to 5-star here in Ottawa.
And clearing that second phase at 39.32, so a score of 4 there for Kelly Robinson. And Blues Your Daddy, 15-year-old for the Canadian. And should leave us just one left to go with Kristen van der Veen with a third, I think, right here now. Bull Run's Prince of Peace. Prince of Peace, 13 years of age by Cardenio 2. Also, we've seen plenty of times as well for this German bred ride by Contender, well, out of Contender Mare, which is Picomtesse. Sam Walker, Alberto Michan, Kat Tyree, top 3. So Canada, Israel, USA as our leading lineup with one left to go. But very rarely is it done and dusted, depending on the strategy here of Kristen van der Veen. Faustino de Tilly, she just had a walk around the course, so I'm not going to build this up too much in case that's a strategy this time. She might be just having a bit of flat work, in which case it's done and dusted for Sam Walker. And I'm looking at what she's doing right now. Oh no, she's off and running. Let's see. If she wants to have a run at this, she's very capable of still knocking Sam off the top. If she's just going to have a jog around, it's done and dusted. But
this is the horse with whom she was second in the 5-star Grand Prix last week, actually, as well.
I think it's done and dusted. She's just having a chat with the DJ over there. Sam Walker is going to take home the win. Yes. Sam's definitely going to take home the win with Evita. Alberto Michan going to be second with Bugatti. And third for Catherine Tyree. Newton, Van Hertz, Keukelhoff, Margie Engel, Jack of Hearts in 4th, 5th to Erin Ballard and Anini Van Dabdeldrief, and 6th Taylor Saint-Jacques, Jacqueline, 7th Jacqueline Stephens, Cat Ninja, and 8th Connor Reagan. And Manchester, I don't think she's going to jump a fence, so I don't think I'm going to worry about this too much. So there we go. Finish off for this Zenith Consulting Open. A win for Canada, good start. Sam Walker and Evita. And just a reminder as well, so have a good look out for Social as well, because we've got a hockey challenge for the teams tonight too. We'll be finding out the skills. They can substitute in as well, so maybe we'll get a few pros turn up on their behalf. Who knows? We will see, but either way, we'll know what the team order is come the end of this evening. I say you can tune into the social for Major League Show Jumping to see how that progresses and whose skills are the finest. And, well, skills finest in this class, Sam Walker and Evita will notch up another nice win for them, 31.8. Alberto Michel Bugatti just pipped to the post in the end into second. Katari Newton, Van Het, Kirklekoff, top three. Hannah and I will be back tomorrow, and I think we've got 2 classes tomorrow. She's going to double check for me because she's brilliant like that. And we are going to be here in Ottawa throughout the week. We are here on Friday with 2 5-stars. Yes, I was right. 11 o'clock and 3 o'clock is the plan at the moment. And then on Saturday, we've got 2-star and 2 5-star. We'll join you for the, well, the 2 5-stars are divided up into the individuals and the team event into the afternoon. We also got a lovely masterclass display coming up for you with Ian Miller and wonderful pupil from para jumping as well. And on Sunday sees us with the 5-star winning round as well in the morning and afternoon, the $215,000 RBC Grand Prix as well. So here we go, there's the final results. Ribbons on the way for Sam Walker. We are going to be heading off and we will be back with you tomorrow. Look forward to seeing you there. From Hannah and I, thank you very much. See you later. Good night and enjoy wherever you are in the world.
So Sam Walker and Evita take top honors, setting up for their photo right now. The second place award, deuxième place, Alberto Michan in Bugatti. Alberto rides for Israel. 47.59 on the first section, 32.79 on the second, and clear on the course. So second place being presented now. Again, Alberto Michan for Israel and Bugatti. Third place, troisième, le 178, Catherine Tyree with Newton Van Het. In the fourth place today, quatrième, le 313, Margie Goldstein-Engel and Jack of Hearts. Fifth place went to Aaron Ballard with Nanini. En sixième place, 6, Taylor Saint-Jacques and Jackie Lee. En septième place, 7th, Jacqueline Steffens and Cat Ninja. The 8th place award went to Connor O'Regan and Manchester. In the 9th place, Hyde Moffat and Donjo. 10th was Jacqueline Steffens and Funk Yeah. 10th. In 11th place, 11e, Natalie Dean and .com Dautry. And the 12th place to Vanessa Hood with Cascal Reto. So our top 3 ribbons presented here in the ring. Thank you to Catherine Bayless, founding manager and managing director at Zenith Consulting, sponsors for the class. And ladies and gentlemen, I'd ask you to rise and remove your hats for the playing of the National Anthem of Canada, honoring our winner, Sam Walker. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for being part of the show today. And a special thanks to Zenith Consulting for the open jumping class. Sam Walker, your turn to lead the parade. And once again, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for being part of the tournament here this weekend. Very glad to have you as part of the Major League Show Jumping Ottawa CSI 5-Star with our opening class here this afternoon. We're back here at 11 o'clock tomorrow morning with another course from Guillermo George from Wellington. The draw party is tonight. The draw to determine the team starts or the team competition on Saturday. If you're heading out, safe drive home. If you're staying, do enjoy your evening. And again, thank you for being here today.